Sketch a house. Creating a sketch. In this exercise, you create a stylized sketch of a house using the basic tools. You do the following. Open an existing file, sketch the outline of the house, sketch the windows, complete the sketch. Note: the steps in this exercise are based on using a mouse. If you are using a tablet and stylus, you will tap the stylus instead of click or select with the mouse. Exercise 1. Open an existing file. Open SketchBook Express. In the File menu, hit Open. Open house.tiff. This file has the required layers for this exercise. If the Layers Manager window is not displayed, click Layers. Exercise 2. Sketch the outline of the house. Click Outline to make it the current layer. On the brush palette, select Felt Tip Pen. Click the Colors editor. Select the lighter gray. Sketch the outline of the house as shown. Draw the house in perspective using our additive and subtractive measures. I'm going to draw a box and basically add or subtract shapes from it to create our house outline. Create a house that looks like the example provided. No need to make sure that it's perfect. Just roughen the shapes with your felt tip pen. We'll clean up as we go. Anytime you see a line disappear, I'm hitting Command Z on a Mac or Control Z on a PC to undo. I'm going to add window and door outlines as shown in the example. I'll add windows to both sides of the house. And to both floors. I'll draw one big shape and divide it to make multiple windows. I'll use my Move, Rotate, and Scale tool to edit my drawing, and my Hard Eraser tool to clean it up. Now I rotated our house so that some of the angles would be easier to draw. Depending on whether you're using a tablet or a mouse, turning the object would work to your advantage, just to make it easier on your wrist. And then you can always use our scale and rotate puck to return it to normal. To deselect your puck, either select your felt tip pen or your freehand tool. Going to add a small staircase to the front, which means I'll need to add some geometry to the bottom. and we'll add a chimney as shown. And this is the rough outline of our house. On the brush palette, select Airbrush. Double-click Airbrush to open its brush properties. We want to increase our size to 128 and lower our flow to 50. In our Colors editor, we want to pick a mid-blue and we want to select Shading as our layer. We're going to gently paint over our house, leaving the outline exposed. Back in our Color editor, I'm going to select a darker shade of blue. I'm going to decrease my brush size by using the brackets. And I'm going to paint in one side of the house darker to indicate that light is coming from the opposite direction. I'm going to paint light enough so that my original sketch is still visible. Tip: change the size of the airbrush to a smaller size to highlight the edges of the roof. I'm going to do this by using my brackets, or in your brush properties, you can drag the size slider. I'm going to use the same technique for my windows and my door. Exercise 3. Make windows the current layer. In the Color editor, select a very light blue color. Increase the size of your airbrush and use the light blue to paint in the color of your windows. On the brush palette, select Soft Eraser, decrease your brush size, and erase the area within the window outlines. I'm going to increase my amount erased so that my lines are clear. Make shading the current layer. In the Color editor, select a darker shade of blue. Shade the roof surfaces and walls that are in shadow. I'm going to decrease my brush size using the brackets so that you can get a tighter line. Select Windows in Layer so that you can get a tighter line. Select your Windows layer. so that you can get a tighter line. Select your Windows layer. Select the line from the menu at the top of the screen. Select your felt tip pen in your brushes palette. You may need to adjust the size of your felt tip pen in the brush properties, or you can use the brackets on your keyboard. And draw a line around the edges of your house. Just click and drag and let go to complete the line. If you create a line that you don't like, simply hit Ctrl-Z or Command-Z on your keyboard, depending on whether you're using a Mac or a PC. You have your rough outline already established, so all you're doing is tracing with the line tool and making any necessary changes along the way. Add a border around all the windows and doors and all edges of the roof. From here, I would increase our brush size and add in our frames for our windows. Now our house is a little bit stylized, so we're not worried about perfect perspective or anything like that. Exercise 4. Completing the sketch. Make shading the current layer. On the color editor, select white. Use the hard eraser and use your soft eraser as well to remove some of the shading around the house. Increase your brush size when necessary. Make sure to reselect your freehand tool. And carefully erase any unwanted color. You can go to any of your previous layers and erase any unwanted lines and call your sketch complete. And this is how we create a simple house in Autodesk Sketchbook Express.